Hey, you. Yes, you. When was the last time you cleaned your PC? You don't know? Do you know how, bruh? No. Well, if this is you, well, congratulations! You just clicked on the right video for you. Today's video is going to turn you from a dust cleaner newbie to a hero. You'll be able to dust off your PC without removing anything like a boss! Hello YouTube, today I'm going to show you how to clean your own PC the right way. Now before I jump in the subject, I just want to mention that when I'm going to be dusting the PC, I'm not going to have this shirt on, it's going to be a different shirt. And the reason being is if you want to dust your machine, let's say for example in the morning or something, I would advise using yesterday's shirt. The reason behind it is, let's say you use, fresh in the morning, you wake up like I do and I go ahead and do that, and I put up with this t-shirt right away. Well, it kind of defeats the purpose of having a new smell, a good shirt that smells good, and then it just gets destroyed by dust. So I would advise to do that if you want to do it straight in the morning, or you can do it later in the afternoon or during the night with the same shirt. It's up to you, who cares? But that's my opinion anyways. Now before I go ahead downstairs in my bunker and start cleaning, we're going to be looking at 4 types of methods you can clean your machine. Now before we proceed, we'll look at 4 different types of cleaning. There is the light cleaning option, where it involves a paintbrush to brush off the dust, especially in the heat sinks, and a good blowout from your lungs. The average dust removal is about 80% on that case. Alternatively, there is the intermediate option, which replaces your lungs with an air can. You can also use a paintbrush to help out. This option will give you about 85 to 90% clear out. The advanced option involves an air compressor, which not everyone owns. This is by far the most effective way in both removal and the amount of time needed. This removes about 95 to 99% of dust. If you're going extreme, there is the batshit crazy option, which involves an air compressor and tools to disassemble the components from the case. This is by far the most time-consuming option, but removes pretty much 100% of the dust in the computer and a dishwasher. Yeah, a dishwasher. Giving your motherboard a good old wash down along with the case. Just don't put a power supply in there unless you disassemble it and let it dry for 24 hours minimum. No optical drives and hard drive including SSD should go in the dishwasher. And yes, people go that far. Now that I've covered all the 4 categories, let's get cleaning. Now first thing, normally you would do this outside, but unfortunately for the fact of the shooting this video, it's a pain in the butt. And look, my co-star just arrived. So instead what we're going to be doing is I'm going to set up a fan right over there so it'll blow the dust over this way, and I got the door wide open, so this should actually do the trick. Now once we open up the PC, I've actually disassembled the wires so I can actually get this video going a bit better, and I'll be able to rewire the whole thing in its final glory. First things first, everything that intakes dust. So of course this you want to have to be dealt with first, of course. So take this and blow it outside for first. Give it a few puffs and blow, and it should be clean. Now while you're at it, also dust out the door panel. So there, this thing's ready. Now we're going to tackle the main computer parts. And one of the big things I always do is not tackle inside right away. I tackle the power supply first, because the power supply also has a bit of dust itself. So I see here there is an intake grill that's actually full of dust, believe it or not. And there's the exhaust. So what we want to do is we want to go with our little nozzle into the fan grill and make sure that it passes, it clears the fan blades. Because if not, The fan will spin, and it will, well, it won't really dust it properly, and of course, if you're not careful enough, you may snap the fan blades, which you don't want that to happen at all. So, with a few puffs, here and there, and now we stirred up the dust. So what we do now, because dust rises, we're going to go under and blow into the power supply right away. Okay, now with this done, we have the computer still facing down. So now, we also have our exhausts. So the exhaust is something I'm going to tackle next. Just a quick little few blows. Now with these holes clean, we can get going. And now, sometimes the dust can be very stubborn, like don't want to move because there is probably one of your pets may shed, and when it clogs, it can actually cling onto it and not let go too well. So that's a little bummer. And now while you're at it, there's still dust on the table. You may or may not see it, so quick push and out it goes. Now, we've covered the back, we've covered the power supply, we got to cover now the inside. Now, a lot of people would tackle it this way, right? Well, they're wrong. You know, dust rises, so even though it'll be way cleaner, it won't be achieving its maximum cleanliness as if you'd be putting it right side down like that. So like this, dust goes up, and when you do it outside, it's perfect. And if you can't, well, lucky for me, I have a door open and a fan that'll just rise and get the fuck out of the way. So now let's begin. First things first, we gotta tackle the front first. Whatever's an intake is dust. There is dust over there. It's going to happen guaranteed. And the reason why we want to tackle there is also to move the dust out and we can get going on this side. So, without further ado, normally there's a vent under, which is right here. If you may or may not see it, I don't think you can see it. Give me a minute. There is a hole right there, so you can just stick your gun and so now the front is done. Sometimes computers like this will have big clumps of dust. If you can, remove them. Else you can still use your your compressed air, your can, or your paintbrush and good old blow out the mouth. But I still use this. It's much better anyways. It gives better results. So now that we've covered the front here, now we're going to go into the main section. And we're going to start from the bottom up all the time. So now we have our graphics card here that has a fan that is, well, pretty damn jammed up. So here we go. Now that the bottom's done, we're going to progress where the CPU and RAM is. And there we go. So now that this is complete, now the case is now ready to be closed up and it's now dust free, or at least 90% dust free. Now these cases, especially when they're way too high, well, first things first, smoker's dust like this one has, well, that's fucking gross. Normally I did let it go for a little bit so I can show you how to dust it, but I didn't intend it to go this far, but shame on me. Anyways, so if you have any front grille that's removable, go ahead and remove that. You'll save yourself a lot of headache getting over here. And of course there is a lot more ventilation holes, so we got to take care of these first. Once again, the door. Ew. Well, before I start doing the time lapse, power supply's at the bottom, so now we're going to be doing something a little extra different. So what we're going to do this one is, again, bring it down right away. So now you want to stir shit up from the bottom, because the power supply at the top's not a big deal, but at the bottom dust rises and it'll tend to go and jam itself here. So a little quick shot. Under the case it's inaccessible, so by doing it so like this, dust flew everywhere, and that's what we don't want that in our case, but that's what we want as in general, so we can get rid of everything from here on up. So now that this is done, it's time for our time lapse. And of course, don't forget to empty your compressor when it's done. And throw it back, all the accessories if your case has any, or anything that's removable. There you go, done. Put the screws on, system's clean. I did have a bit of issues because one of the fans, wasn't blowing properly, and I got it readjusted, and now it's cleaner anyways, a lot more cleaner. I really don't like taking computers apart just to clean them, but if taking your computer apart to clean is the thing you want to do, by all means go ahead, that's the best way to do it. But otherwise, if you don't want to, you want to save yourself the hassle of doing this every day, well, now you know how to properly clean your machine. So there you go. Hopefully this will give you more confidence in yourself to clean your PC and not be afraid of having any dust spots or any broken parts or pieces, and hopefully you will enjoy the same experience as I did. So if you have any questions, comments, anything you would like to add to this subject, don't hesitate, and please feel free to leave a comment down below. And as usual, of course, until next time, stay bold and take care.